The time is precisely 1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Danishka Madhavala and read by Chandima Veerakon. Headlines. The President instructed to support green gram cultivation in the lands which cannot cultivate paddy. It is expressed that the present electricity issues are occurring due to failure of building power plants at the right time. The Education Ministry has to conduct investigations regarding the complaints received on yesterday's Grade 5 scholarship examination. The Health Ministry urges public to take precautions as corona cases rise. A sharp rise in dengue cases in the country. Authorities urge the people to clean their surroundings. Registration of new political parties will begin tomorrow. On news overseas, New Zealand Prime Minister Ardern cancels wedding amid Omicron wave. In sports news, Rafael Nadal wins epic tie-break in Australian Open victory over Adrian Manarino. Local stories in detail. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has instructed the Ministry of Agriculture to support green gram cultivation in the lands which cannot cultivate paddy. President's media division says green gram cultivation can be done as a supportive crop between two main harvesting seasons. Financial aids will be provided for the farmers in this regard. The Education Ministry has instructed the Examinations Department to conduct investigations regarding the complaints received on yesterday's Grade 5 scholarship examination. Several complaints were received regarding several incidents over the examination. Complaints were received regarding UB Waninayak College in Galigamuwa, Sirimawa Bandaranayaka College Galigamuwa, Vijaya College Badulla and Gaul Nagoda National College. The Health Ministry has urged the public to take precautions as the number of people infected with the coronavirus is rising steadily. State Minister of Production, Supply and Regulation of Pharmaceuticals, Channa Jayasumana, said that there has been a rise in the number of people infected with COVID over the past couple of weeks. As a result, he urged the public to take appropriate precautions to prevent a rapid rise in infections. According to the latest SARS-CoV-2 variant report issued by the Allergy Immunology and Cell Biology Unit of the Department of Immunology and Molecular Medicine of the University of Sri Jayawardenepura, 75 new cases of Omicron and 3 new cases of Delta were detected from 78 samples tested this month. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing with the local stories, General Manager of the Ceylon Electricity Board, Dr. N.M. Susantha Pereira, says that the present electricity issue has occurred due to failure of building power plants at the right time. Plans were made to construct power plants several years ago, but due to various reasons, the plants were not implemented. The General Manager pointed out that the breakdown of several parts in Norachalai coal power plant is also one of the main reasons for the present power crisis. Registration of new political parties will begin tomorrow. Chairman of the National Election Committee, Attorney at Law Nimal Puncheva, says that the relevant gazette notification will be issued tomorrow. At present, there are 79 registered political parties in Sri Lanka. Out of them, 6 are considered as non-active. The chairman said that 3 political parties were registered during the past period. To conclude the local news, the headlines again. The President instructed to support green gram cultivation in the lands which cannot cultivate paddy. It is expressed that the present electricity issues occur due to failure of building power plants at the right time. The Education Ministry has to conduct investigations regarding the complaints received on yesterday's Grade 5 scholarship examination. The Health Ministry urges public to take precautions as corona cases rise. A sharp rise in dengue cases in the country, authorities urge the people to clean their surroundings. Registration of new political parties will begin tomorrow. That ends the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhaloka Vedamahatmya.
Moving on with the main news story. In a coordinated operation conducted by the Navy and police in Chulipuram area, Jaffna, on the night of 21st January, Sri Lanka Navy seized over 80 kilograms of Kerala cannabis and arrested a suspect. In a special operation conducted by SLNS Uttara in the Northern Naval Command with the Kankasanturai police, a house in Chulipuram was searched on suspicion. The search led to the recovery of the stock of Kerala cannabis weighing about 80.5 kilograms. The stock was in 38 parcels which were stuffed in 5 sacks. The street value of the stock of Kerala cannabis is believed to be over 24 million rupees. The 38-year-old suspect was identified as a resident of Chulipuram. The suspect, along with Kerala cannabis, was handed over to the Kankasanturai police for onward legal proceedings. That ends the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalopa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on with Watchlight. The National Dengue Control Unit reported nearly 5,500 cases of dengue have been reported so far this month. The unit said that 60% of the total cases have been reported from the Western Province. The Galle and Kurunegala areas have also reported a significant number of dengue cases. Authorities urge the people to clean their households and surroundings and clear mosquito breeding grounds. That ends Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Headlines of the world news. New Zealand Prime Minister Ardern cancels wedding amid Omicron wave. IS prison break in Syria sparks days of clashes. Turkish journalist jailed for reciting proverb. New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has cancelled her wedding after announcing new COVID restrictions. The entire country is set to be placed under the highest level of COVID restrictions after an outbreak of the Omicron variant. The restrictions include a cap of 100 vaccinated people at events and mask wearing in shops and on public transport. New Zealand has recorded 15,104 COVID cases and 52 deaths. Ms. Ardern confirmed to reporters today that her wedding to television host Clark Gayford would not be going ahead. The new restrictions come into force at midnight on Sunday local time. It comes after a cluster of 9 Omicron cases were confirmed. Intense fighting is taking place in northeastern Syria after Islamic State fighters tried to break inmates out of a Kurdish-run prison. Kurdish-led forces backed by US airstrikes have been battling militants in the city of Hasaka since Thursday. The assault on Guyran prison is one of the group's most ambitious since its defeat in Syria nearly 3 years ago. The overcrowded site houses 3,500 suspected IS members, including some of its leaders, a monitoring group says. Hundreds of jihadists have been recaptured since the breakout, but some are still on the run, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said. Kurdish security forces have surrounded the prison and are fighting for control of nearby neighborhoods. Residents have been fleeing their homes. A Turkish court has detained well-known journalist Sedef Kabas for allegedly insulting the country's president. Ms. Kabas was arrested on Saturday in Istanbul and a court ordered her to be jailed ahead of a trial. She is accused of targeting President Recep Tayyip Erdogan with a proverb which she quoted on live television on an opposition-linked TV channel. She denies the charge. The charge carries a prison sentence of between 1 and 4 years. And to conclude the world news, the headlines again. New Zealand Prime Minister Ardern cancels wedding amid Omicron wave. IS prison break in Syria sparks days of clashes. Turkish journalist jailed for reciting proverb. That ends the world news.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take coal out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Moving on with the development news. Minister Gamini Lokuge says that the Narachalai power plant will be reactivated from tomorrow. 300 megawatts of power will be added to the national grid from tomorrow. The minister said that the power plant received fuel stocks enough to run for 5 days. Sapukaskanda and Kalanithissa power plants will also be able to operate with this measure, the minister said. That ends the development news.
Development news was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Moving on with the sports news, Rafael Nadal progressed to the Australian Open quarterfinals with a straight-set win over Adrian Manarino as the Spaniard continues his quest for a record-breaking 21st major title. Nadal, 35, edged an epic 28-minute first-set tie-break as he eventually converted his seventh-set point. Manarino struggled with injury after the tiebreak as the sixth seed went on to claim a 7-6, 16-14, 62-62 win. Nadal plays German third seed Alexander Zverev or Denis Shapovalov next. Nadal, the 2009 champion and five-time finalist in Melbourne, also faced 4 set points in a remarkable opening set which lasted 1 hour and 22 minutes on Rod Laver Arena. That breathless battle took its toll on the 33-year-old Manarino, who had a problem with his knee and groin and was subsequently broken in the opening game of the second set. That ends sports news.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business news sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
And on business news, the Department of Export Agriculture commenced purchasing of 20,000 kilos of turmeric from farmers. The inaugural purchase of turmeric produced by the farmers in the area under the theme Maximum Price for the Farmer, Concessionary Price for the Consumer was held yesterday. The Department of Export Agriculture under the State Ministry of Export Promotion of sugarcane, maize, pepper, cinnamon, cloves, betel and other spice plantations is implementing this program island-wide, and the Spices and Allied Products Marketing Board is purchasing turmeric from farmers. That ends business news.
Business news sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
And on economic news, businessmen in the dried fish industry say Sri Lankan entrepreneurs should make use of the huge potential for dried fish in the world market. There is a huge demand for quality dried fish in the local and foreign markets. Therefore, entrepreneurs are welcome to this new sector, which hasn't been well used so far. Young entrepreneurs who see the future in different angles should enter the industry, since it will be the right solution for the foreign exchange scarcity in the country today. They say it is necessary to impose certain criteria for the dried fish industry, as there are no such regulations. Therefore, it can be seen that fish are kept drying in open areas in sunlight even at dusty places. It is very important that dried fish be processed in a controlled atmosphere in covered huts which get enough sunlight. Dried fish prepared in such places under controlled parameters has a huge potential both in local and foreign markets. That ends economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The Weather Report.
And finally, we take a look at the weather report. Mainly dry weather will prevail over most parts of the island. Fairly cold weather can be expected during the early morning. There is a possibility of ground frost in some places in the Nuwara district at the early hours of the morning. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in western, central, Sabarakamuwa, north central and Uva provinces and in Kurunegala, Galle and Mathura districts during the morning hours. That ends the weather report. And to conclude this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. The President instructed to support green gram cultivation in the lands which cannot cultivate paddy. It is expressed that the present electricity issues occur due to failure of building power plants at the right time. The Education Ministry has to conduct investigations regarding the complaints received on yesterday's Grade 5 scholarship examination. Health Ministry urges public to take precautions as corona cases rise. A sharp rise in dengue cases in the country, authorities urge the people to clean their surroundings. Registration of new political parties will begin tomorrow. New Zealand Prime Minister Ardern cancels wedding amid Omicron wave. And in sports news, Nadal wins epic tiebreak in Australian Open victory over Adrian Mannarino. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.